is my Japanese flip phone, again, and in my last video I tried turning it into a retro handheld. And it worked, kind of, but it was way too difficult to use since control settings on the emulators I downloaded just didn't work. So I was stuck using a cursor to press each button instead of using the keys, which would be way more comfortable. I had given up initially, thinking the several emulators I tried were representative of how any of them would work on this phone. But I got a little inspired in my downtime and thought I would try a few more. The first few were duds, but then I loaded up Classic Boy Lite, which has several emulator options like PS1, N64, Sega Genesis, and GBA. I was most interested in GBA since I still thought Pokemon or similar games were what would be most doable on this phone even if you could map the keys. But that was the question, would it let me map the keys, because every emulator I had tried before this just wouldn't. Well, to my surprise, the answer is yes. Finally, I found an emulator that would work well enough on this phone to actually let me do this. So I got started mapping the controls. I couldn't map the directional thing, I'm not sure what to call it. I couldn't map the thing that was controlling the cursor on the phone. It wouldn't recognize it as an input, it'd just move the cursor around. But that's fine, you can just map the controls to the other keys. I mapped it how I thought it would be most comfortable to play and gave it a shot. I was incredibly pleased to find you could hold down the keys mapped to the D-pad now instead of having to repeatedly press them in order to move, which is a huge improvement. The only thing is, in order to load a save file, you need to pay for the full version of the app, which would be fine if it'd, let me do it. I just get an error message anytime I try and purchase it. There's nowhere to put payment info, and this phone doesn't have a wallet. I tried to see if there was a way to cheese it. On this phone, you need to force stop the app each time if you don't want it running in the background. So what if I just didn't do that? Would I be able to open it up to where I left off? Nope. I'm new to Android, so I'm not sure if this is possible, but say you had Aurora or any app store this flip phone can use on an Android smartphone, could you pay for it on that phone and then download the paid version onto the flip phone using the same account? I get the feeling there's something that just wouldn't work with that idea, but I don't know enough about Androids to be sure, so let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. But yeah, unless there's a workaround I'm not really sure of, you'll need to beat your games in one sitting. But that's fine, because I think this will make a really fun challenge after all. So I'll be cooking up a challenge video where I beat Pokemon Emerald on my flip phone in one sitting sometime in the future. Also, remember when I said I was worried about this phone being able to play something like a PS1 game? Well, I decided to just go for it, and PS1 games will in fact run on the Kyocera 902KC just fine. I just can't say I'd recommend playing anything where you need to press more than a few buttons overall, or even press multiple buttons at once. I think ultimately it'd be really annoying even if it is pretty cool, but I mean what matters is you could do it if you wanted. As far as that issue goes, for good measure, even though connecting a controller through Bluetooth didn't work before, I connected one via a USB-C to USB-C cable I bought on the very off chance it had any way of working for games with more complex controls. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I tried to find any way to get the phone to recognize that something was plugged in, but it just wouldn't. I checked the phone settings, checked the emulator settings, and nothing worked. But I guess that's fine, a controller would kinda defeat the whole purpose anyway. So yeah, even though I recently uploaded the last video, I just wanted to do an update video since I was really excited about it and wanted to share it with you guys. I am going to be trying to upload more consistently now since I've got a lot of ideas at the moment, from retro tech boxings to retro game challenges to weird stuff like this. So wish me luck on balancing both streaming and YouTube since I'm kinda still figuring out how to do that. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching, and thank you to my channel members for the support, and welcome to all my new subscribers since there's been a lot of you recently. I'll see you guys again soon, and bye!